All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking Thursday Night Football, and tonight we have an AFC South matchup between the 6-4 Indianapolis Colts going into Houston to face the 6-4 Texans. This is a battle for the AFC South top dog, and it will certainly be a good one as we get T.Y. Hilton back in the Houston building after 3 weeks being gone. T.Y. Hilton has essentially owned the building in Houston, as his last 2 games he's gone for over 175 yards apiece. Now this is important because they lose Marlon Mack. They lost him last week, and he will be out indefinitely with a broken hand. As I mentioned prior, T.Y. Hilton has been out for 3 games, and the Colts have been 1-2 in those games. That single win came last week, where the Colts' rush offense really came alive. Both running backs went over 100 yards on the ground and absolutely demolished the Jags defense. Unfortunately, they will not be able to rely on that form of play tonight, as they will most likely be forced to get it to T.Y. Hilton and expect another massive, historic game from him inside the Houston building. Switching over to the Texans side, Will Fuller is officially active after being out for several weeks, and the Texans offense gets their deep threat back. Hopefully this will help Deshaun Watson get rid of the ball quicker, as they are still reeling from the 41-7 blowout that was in Baltimore last week. Just to run over a few numbers, the Colts offense is currently ranked number 21, and they are going up against the 25th ranked Texans defense. On the other side, the Texans offense is currently ranked number 7, going up against the number 11 Colts defense. So we have 21 going against 25 and 7 going against 11. So very comparable offense and defensive stats, and it's certainly going to be a great matchup, as it is a battle for AFC South first place. Now, if we're going to run over a few keys to the game that I've established, I'm going to start with the Texans. First of all, Deshaun Watson needs to get rid of the ball. If he gets put in a hole like he was last week against Baltimore, you can't expect him to hold on to the ball for long and then try and dig his way out of it by throwing long balls or holding on to it and performing more Houdini acts. He needs to get rid of the ball quickly, whether it be slant routes, out routes, or slip routes, whatever it may be. Will Fuller is back in the game, so it should allow DeAndre Hopkins some more variety in his routes, and Bill O'Brien allowing him to call more, let's say, elaborate plays. Also, because Will Fuller is back, I believe the running game opens up a lot of options. Carlos Hyde needs to be handed the ball. Plain and simple. It didn't happen last week. They struggled, and they got put in a hole, and then they were trying to dig out of it by throwing the ball, and it doesn't work that way. You have to establish the run, so then the play action comes alive, and you control the clock, and then you move to the pass game. Now, this is going to be a big key, I believe, for both teams, as whichever team can establish the run, I believe, will win this game. Now, the Texans are immediately in favor of this because the Colts are without Marlon Mack. However, the Texans may have Laramie Tunsil, but the Colts have Quentin Nelson. It's going to be a battle in the trenches for sure. As I switch over to the Colts keys to the game, the battle in the trenches theme still continues. The Colts need to get to Deshaun Watson. If the Colts can contain Deshaun Watson and prevent him from performing these Houdini-like plays, then I believe that will hold the Texans to the point where the Colts offense, although is reeling and has been struggling, I believe it'll allow them to come alive. Another major key for the Colts, again, battle in the trenches. They must protect Jacoby Brissett. Without Marlon Mack, which is clearly a huge hit to their running game, they will need to protect Jacoby Brissett so he will be able to get the ball to T.Y. Hilton. If there is a lack in protection, which I don't believe there will be, because the pass rush has been reeling in Houston since J.J. Watt's injury and Jadeveon's been shipped out to Seattle, I think Jacoby will have plenty of time, but like I said before, it's in Jacoby's hands to win this game. As for my pick, I have to go with the favorite. I think with the Texans in their blowout loss last week, I think Bill O'Brien's going to have the squad fired up. I think they realize that T.Y. Hilton is active, and the last 2 times that T.Y. Hilton stepped into Houston, he's kicked their ass, and I really believe that those 2 things will fire the Texans up enough to have them win. I'm picking the Texans by a touchdown.